So I posted a video saying who is Eddie Para to Carmelo Anthony. And I'm going to take accountability because an account that I really trusted and still trust because it wasn't from the host, but it was someone in their moderator. Anyways, listen, TikTok information, wrong. Eddie Para is not the cousin of Carmelo Anthony's girlfriend. Listen to this news clip explaining that they're not cousins, they're childhood friends. This is making sense. So the claim that I said, because I read between the lines and I'm gifted spiritually. I be read through the shit. Okay, I have discernment. I said that Carmelo went over there to start a problem initially with Eddie. But it didn't make sense because they were cousins. Court documents, listen, court testimony said that Eddie and this girl are not really cousins. They are play cousins. They just call each other that because they're long childhood friends. Bingo. They're not really related. He said the only time that he would hang out with Carmelo is when the girlfriend was around. They're not really cousins. I told y'all there was something wrong with him and Eddie. That's why he went over there, and that's why he could not leave. He was trying to be a tough guy in front of Eddie because childhood friends, side eye. No, you probably was messing with her. Y'all probably had a little relationship for a long time. I already understand about childhood friends. Somebody liked somebody. Y'all was doing something, and Carmelo, he had his suspicions about you guys. I could see that this boy went over there. That's why he passed up the other tents. The rain had nothing to do with it. Carmelo knew that Eddie went to Memorial High School. He saw Memorial's tent. Austin told him to leave. He wanted to hang around Eddie because that girl really likes Eddie. Why are they even hanging around? They're not even cousins for real. See, read between the lines. I told y'all that boy went over there to start a problem with Eddie. It wasn't to hang out. It wasn't because he was invited. And it wasn't no text messages. Y'all are just making this up as you go. If the defense had a text message saying that Eddie invited Carmelo, it would have been damning for the prosecution. There was no text that exists. He saw the memorial tent. He knew. See, Eddie and Austin were friends, for real. Went to the same school, were on the same track meet. So Eddie and Carmelo's girlfriend are not blood cousins. Listen to this, y'all. I just learned this. Excuse me. My other theory was spot on. That's why he had so much to prove and trying to be a tough guy. Because he couldn't walk away from that tent with his tail in between his legs because he knew that there was either something going on between Eddie and that girl or that he probably knew his girlfriend really had a thing for Eddie. That's the thing. He probably felt no offense to anybody, but this man was insecure of another man, and men and women we know when our partner is into somebody else, even at a young age. We're not stupid. We already know. This is all coming together. This is why it was such a display of prowess and ego. You see what I'm saying? And let's take it a step further, because where does Austin come in on this? Eddie and Austin were really friends. Carmelo, looking at it from Carmelo's point of view, because I don't dislike Carmelo and I'm not on black or white. I'm for the truth. From Carmelo's perspective, already having your suspicions about Eddie, keeping your friends close and your enemies closer, right? Because they had a really fake relationship because that girl was in between them. Carmelo probably felt like the butt of the joke, the clown in the circle, because he probably felt that Eddie had told someone else. He probably felt that Austin knew. Austin probably knew that Eddie was seeing that girl behind his back. That's why Eddie can say they were friends. We're not cool like that, but you're in pictures with him that you shouldn't be. You wanted his place, or that girl wanted y'all to fight over her. No offense, but Latino women are like that. Latino women, hey, don't come for me, but y'all love when men fight over y'all. Triangulation is something that's common. So this is a love story gone wrong. Okay, wrong place, wrong time. Carmelo's ego was going haywire because he probably felt like these people are trying me. He already had his suspicions about Eddie probably seeing his girlfriend behind his back. And then Eddie probably told Austin. There's other people on their team who probably knew. Eddie and Austin were really friends. So the whole idea of like a setup, like, that's not true. There's no way you can blame him taking Austin's life on Eddie. But we can highlight that there was some fake tension. There was some betrayal and backstabbing going on between Carmelo and Eddie that I called out like I did on my first video. I said he was jealous of Eddie. I couldn't figure out why because I thought that they were cousins, Eddie and the girlfriend. Now it's perfectly making sense as to the tension and the jealousy. You got, like, girls do that. Girls do that. Girls will hang out with a girl who their boyfriend likes. If a girl's boyfriend likes another girl, like, they will try to imitate and become that girl. It is just basic psychology. It was keeping your friends closer, enemies closer. And I wonder, did Austin know that and get in the middle? And because think about it, y'all. If Eddie and Carmelo were really friends and he invited him over there, why was it such a huge deal to leave? Like, why get a coach involved? Why tell a coach? Why take it to that extent to bring adults into the situation? Austin probably never said out loud, like, oh, I know what's going on, but he probably knew who this guy was. He probably knew. And was Austin using his power as a coach, as a leader, the one who was put in charge of that tent by a coach and recently made captain of his football team? Was he using his authorities and powers and abuse and making Carmelo leave? And making Carmelo feel like, you're not about to punk me. You're not about to sun me right now. Because a girl was in the middle of all of this. And that girl is nowhere to be found today. And what I meant earlier, but like, this is what happens when you date outside of your race. Because Eddie is Hispanic like her. Eddie looks like he's mixed with black and Hispanic. And that girl looks like she's Hispanic. So when you date someone who's out of your ethnicity, and Carmelo's probably thinking she probably would prefer to be with him. He's at all the family function. He's a long-term friend. He probably felt like his insecurities, because here he is as a black man. And black men do feel like, am I up to par when they're dating women outside of their ethnicity? I feel like a lot of times they want this social validation from dating, white women or just women outside of black women. If you're an aesthetic person, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm still right about the materialism and performance culture in that house, which is hints to why he was dating a Hispanic girl and not a black girl. Because if you are not loving to your sons and you're just hard on them and you push them, they don't want black women. They have an idea that's negative about black women from their mothers in their mind, and they will date anything but. I've seen it. I have so many people in my life who are dating non-black women because their moms have traumatized them and pushed them away. But focusing back on here, the situation at hand, this is a messy love triangle between Eddie Parra, Carmelo Anthony, and that girl. I wish I knew her name. I tried to look it up real quick. Not even worth giving her the time of day at this point. And did Austin put himself in between this messy love triangle? Did he put himself in between this mess and not knowing like the built up animosity that was really there? And black men fight for their ego. They really identify, and it suits them to, like, this was an ego driven, passionate, like, I'm starting to see, even though Carmelo was still wrong for what he did, but I'm starting to see the emotion behind why Carmelo did what he did. He had been seeing this girl hang out with Eddie for a long time. They have pictures together. Like, come on, I'm not finna be smiling with my man's female friend and pretend like they don't like each other. Like, let's call a spade a spade. Like, let's be for real. And this is what was happening. This is what was like built up, like, along with what I said, with what was going on in his house. I still blame his parents for a lot of the thinking and the decision that he made and why it was so important to defend himself. But I think Austin got in between, and I think Austin knew that Eddie was seeing Carmelo's girlfriend, that Eddie was seeing Carmelo's girlfriend behind his back. I think Austin knew a little bit of what was going on, because why was it such an issue? Like, if he was really invited, or if they knew each other like that, that's because they had a fake relationship, Eddie and Carmelo. And I think Austin just got in between it. And hopefully Austin didn't know. Hopefully Austin was, just doing his job as the coach and leader of that tent, which was assigned to him by a coach who took the stand. Hopefully, but who knows? But hey, why? I already know, like, a Leo is going to stand up for their friends, whether, they're going to try to have some loyalty to their friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, men, I don't know, but this is a love story. This is a love story gone wrong. This is the connection between Eddie and Carmelo. This is why Carmelo went to the 10. This is why.
Eddie immediately starts crying. The attorney goes up there and gives him Kleenex.
Court TV anchor Cody Thomas has been inside the courtroom watching the testimony. Thomas is talking about 18-year-old Eddie Parra. He was the Memorial High School student the defense maintains was the reason Anthony was at the Memorial High School tent that fateful day. The defense has referred to Parra as Anthony's friend, but when questioned by the prosecution, he didn't define their relationship that way.
We finally hear from Eddie, and Eddie all but says that we weren't really that good of friends. I just knew this kid because he was dating my what he called his cousin, but a childhood friend. Eddie's testimony, coupled with everybody else's, doesn't seem like he had any reason being under the tent at all.
But on cross-examination, the defense showed the jury several photographs of Parra and Anthony hanging out and seemingly having fun. Parra maintained they only hung out when Anthony's then-girlfriend was around, calling her the common link between them. Defense attorney Toby Shook asked Parra to demonstrate on him how he remembered seeing Metcalf shove or push Anthony before the stabbing. But it was when Assistant District Attorney Bill Werski asked Parra to describe the deadly encounter between Metcalf and Anthony that he broke down.
Then when Eddie describes it, when he lifted up his shirt and saw the hole, like he said hole, not just a wound, a hole. So that kind of gives you an idea maybe how big this wound was, this stab wound.
The state's last witness was Dr. Elizabeth Ventura, the Collin County Chief Medical Examiner who performed Metcalf's autopsy.